Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be doing something very special, something we haven't done in quite a while, and that is actually going to be showcasing a budget deck, and a deck that is based off of a combo that has been long requested to return on the channel, but I haven't really felt like returning to it because it almost did exactly the same thing. So, you know, what is done as far as I'm concerned. However, we've had an update to the list, we should say, and we're going to be playing Historic today for this budget Magic, and this one actually only contains two rares in the deck outside of the mana base. The mana base can be switched up for tap lands as well. You can have, if you want to, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but if you don't have all of the Sun Petal Groves and the Temple Gardens, you can put in some Blossoming Gardens to fix up the mana base, or at least, you know, some Guild Gates if you don't have the Blossoming Sands. Alternatively, you could also do the Triomes if you opened any of them, Temples if you opened any of them. Yeah, you can really swap out these if you really want to, and obviously Fable Passage can be Evolving Wilds or Terramorphic Expanse, actually, thanks to Jumpstart. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on to what we're actually going to be doing today, and it's going to be a combo deck built around Paladin, a Famished Paladin combo. 2 mana for a 3/3. In the past, what this has been doing is using the Sorcerer's Wand, I believe it's called. Let me just double check that. It's in the colorless. Yeah, Sorcerer's Wand. So previously we had it with this one in an Orzhov list, built around Sorcerer's Wand and Famished Paladin and giving it lifelink, because Famished Paladin doesn't untap during your untap step. However, whenever you gain life, you untap Famished Paladin. So in the old combo, we would equip the Sorcerer's Wand to Famished Paladin and then tap it to deal 1 damage to a player or planeswalker. That wouldn't do too much unless Famished Paladin itself had lifelink, which means that that creature deals the damage and untaps. Well, we're going to be doing something a little bit different, because we were not going to be using the wand in this one, nor are we going to be giving Famished Paladin lifelink. Instead, what we're going to be doing is comboing the Paladin with Presence of Gond, a 3-mana aura, and by the way, you can win and go infinite with this deck as early as turn 3, so keep that in mind. It's not a turn 3 kill, but it is a turn 3 win as long as life is relevant at least. 3 mana enchantment creature. You enchant it and it has the ability to tap and create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. So if we attach this to Famished Paladin and we tap it, we will make an elf. That will not do anything on its own unless we combine it with another type of card, one that we have a little bit of redundancy, 8 copies of effectively. And that's the things like Ajani's Welcome and Soul Warden. Soul Warden says whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. And remember, Famished Paladin untaps when you gain 1 life. So when we tap Famished Paladin with the Presence of Gond attached to it, it will make a 1/1. And when that 1/1 enters the battlefield, it'll trigger either Ajani's Welcome or Soul Warden, or both. And when we gain life off of them being triggered, Famished Paladin untaps, which means we can tap it to make another 1/1. That means as early as turn 3, we can have infinite 1/1s and infinite life, if we can just RNG our way to it. As I mentioned, this is a budget deck. The only rares in our deck are going to be Fauna Shaman. We can use this to discard a creature card to search our library for a creature, so if we're missing our Paladin, we can go searching for that. Otherwise, we can go search for our other combo piece, which is Soul Warden here as well, get rid of a Llanowar Elves or a Selfless Savior. We've got 3 copies of Selfless Savior and 3 copies of God's Willing as well. These just allow us to protect the Famished Paladin from any removal effects, because unfortunately, last time we played this, Fatal Push was very popular, and now Eliminate is kind of really popular, so Paladin has its same issues, unfortunately. We do have 4 copies of Seal Aways, a little bit of removal, but other than that, we're going to be trying not to interact with our opponent as much as possible. There's not a great deal of ways to tutor up our combo pieces, necessarily, so to find Presence of Gond, we have 4 copies of Bond of Flourishing. This allows us to look at the top 3 cards of our library and reveal a permanent card, so that could either be the Paladin, the Warden, or the Presence. So this does allow us to pick the combo pieces we're missing, but it doesn't allow us to search for them necessarily. As I mentioned, we got Fauna Shaman to get the Soul Warden and the Famished Paladin, but in the case of Presence of Gond, we only really have Heliod's Pilgrim or the Idyllic Tutor. I think Heliod's Pilgrim's just a little bit better. You can, with Idyllic Tutor, I suppose, go get Seal Away, but I feel like adding a creature is actually a little bit more important since it will trigger the Soul Warden and the Ajani's Welcome, and there's a chance that you might be forced into a position where you tap down your Famished Paladin and need a way to untap it again. So that's really about it, to be honest, as far as the deck's concerned. If you do enjoy the list, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Leave a comment down below what you would do with the list. I've seen a few ideas that could go around this, maybe adding black, so you can add Veto to the deck, so that when you gain life, your opponent loses 1 life. I didn't really feel that splash was necessary, since infinite 1/1s and infinite life is usually like 99 times out of 100 probably going to be good enough anyway, so a splash of a 3rd colour wasn't necessarily what I had in mind, but I could see it being the case maybe if you went with some Exquisite Blood combos as well to add it in. After all, we do have these 4 Seal Aways, which hopefully don't ever need to be used, and these Llanowar Elves are nice to ramp, but they're also not always necessary if you can go turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 and win. So, you know, we'll see what we can do in the gameplay. I would say that this deck is not all that good. It is very interactable. If your opponent can kill your Famished Paladin, you're probably going to lose, so I wouldn't recommend this one for laddering necessarily, but as a budget deck, it's a lot of fun, and it can do some interesting things. If you want a nice cheap combo to play around for some casual Magic, then this is where I would point you towards. But yeah, without further ado, let's get to some gameplay. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, we're in. On the draw, we have Famished Paladin and the ability to get the Presence of Gond. We are missing a Soul Warden effect, but we can find that potentially with the Bond of Flourishing. And we have a little bit of protection for our Paladin, so we might be able to get it down early, thanks to the Selfless Savior. I think I'm going to keep this hand. You want to be really, ideally, looking at an opening hand that has at least 2 of the pieces, or the ability to find them, and Heliod's Pilgrim is definitely a way to find the piece we need. So I'm going to go with the Selfless Savior here to lead off with. So remember, it being a dog, if our opponent kills it, they're a bad person. Alright, Gifted Aetherborn is fine. Opponent's going to be running a fair bit of removal, got to imagine. So we're going to go with the Famished Paladin, since we do have the Selfless Savior to protect the Paladin. I don't imagine they've got minus effects, which would get around the indestructibility here. Got Sorin, Imperious Bloodlord, so it's black-white vampires for our opponent. So I'm going to expect vetoes to appear to the battlefield. Opponent's going to go with the Sanctum Seeker. Okay. And they pass. Weird. It has Death Touch you now. But sure, if that's where you want to go. Alright, so we can actually go with Heliod's Pilgrim and grab the Presence of Gond, but as it currently stands, it's not going to just win us the game on the spot, because we are missing a Soul Warden effect. So I think I'm going to go with the Bond of Flourishing instead, and we found our Soul Warden. And we'll play that down. If we draw a Presence off the top, we just win on the spot now. And yeah, let's just pass the turn. Still got that protection on the Paladin, which is great. Basically, we need to dodge 2 removal spells. We can protect against the first, but the one following it, not so much. Blood Artist from Jumpstart. Whenever a creature dies, lose 1 life, gain 1 life. And we're going to start pumping up the Gifted Aetherborn. I don't think our opponent's pressuring us enough to care, though. And that should put us in a really good spot. We're going to take 6 here. And yes, pass the turn. No Presence of Gond, unfortunately, but Heliod's Pilgrim will go find us it. And then off the top, they need the 3 cards they're about to draw to have 2 being removal spells, otherwise they are out of the game. Alright, so past the turn. Let's see if our opponent has 2 eliminates, or if they can just kill us. We've got a block with the Heliod's Pilgrim, so that's not too bad. They're just going all in on the aristocrats. That is totally fine. And yeah, they do have Sorin to yeet a creature at us, but that is not what they're going to go with here. Just going to Death Touch up the Blood Artist and get swinging. So we're going to take our damage. I think I will chump right here to avoid maximum damage. Don't know what they could do though, to be honest, that really makes a difference, because I think we've won now. So we go to 8, and our opponent should be dead. Let's grab this Fabled Passage, because we can. Not that we need to. Got infinite life now. We'll go with Plains, I guess. And my turn. Alright, so we attach the Presence of Gond to the Famished Paladin, who then taps to make an elf, because the elf enters, the Soul Warden triggers, and untaps the Paladin. And we do this until we are satisfied that our opponent is dead next turn, or until they leave. We can also do this as well. We'll go Fabled Passage, crack, and we'll seal away the Sanctum Seeker, I guess. That's just to, you know, really solidify our winning position. There we go. If they don't scoop to that, I don't know what they'll scoop to. And yeah, we'll do this just until we've demonstrated that our opponent has 0% chance of winning, because next turn they can Sorin to sack a creature in order to throw it at the Famished Paladin, which would normally kill it if it wasn't for the Selfless Savior. But that will probably force our hand and make us have to combo off on their turn anyway, so we might as well just do it now as much as we possibly can. And yeah, it's a pretty solid start for us. 21 ones. So far, so good. I guess we should maybe stop in case they've got, like, Languish. That would kind of suck, I suppose. With the Blood Artist out. Suppose it's a possibility. Alright. Sacks a creature. Gonna go after the Blood Artist. Is that sending it at us? I think they are just yeeting it in our general direction. Actually, no, they are not. Okay, so we make this indestructible. Okay, we're down to 27. Got a block on the Gifted Aetherborn nice and easily now that we've got indestructible. Next Sorin. Can't throw at Famished Paladin anymore because it's indestructible. But they're going to do it on the Soul Warden, I assume? Yeah, sure. Alright, well, in response. Now we have to go for the win, otherwise, you know, we'll give our opponent another turn, and we don't want to be doing that. Yeah, and our opponent realizes. I mean, if they realized, they could have scooped when I demonstrated an infinite combo, but yeah, it's up to them. Some people don't like to do it. Got to keep that in mind as well when you do play like infinite combos on Arena. For some unknown reason, people like to make you play it out. Like, I'm talking clicking 100 times. I don't know. For me personally, I play a combo deck to pull off the combo, so I don't know. It's a mixed bag, because some people will say, I'm letting you pull off the combo because I know you're enjoying it, and I personally do enjoy going infinite and watching my board slowly fill up with hundreds and hundreds of elves. I wish that it was a little bit more intuitive on Arena, where you could do like a loop, so you could say, I want to do this 1,000 times, because in paper you would be able to do that. You would be able to say, I do this 1,000 times. If it's something that is repeatable and 100% guaranteed to happen, you absolutely can do that in a paper match, but on Arena, it's not actually a feature, so, you know, some people just do it out of spite, though. I did actually have someone who auto passed the turn while I was doing my combo, and then when I'd got to about, I think it was like 30 or so tokens, which I needed to get to, they unticked this so that the priority would pass back to them, and made me slog through clicking the proceed button, and then they roped me down to 0, which is, it's a thing. it's certainly a thing. It's how I knew that I had a deck worthy of showing on the channel, let's put it that way. If it made someone that salty, you know I've got to show it. So, yeah, next game. Okay then, we're in, and we've got actually in our hand one of the hardest pieces to find, so I think I'm going to keep this one. Go turn 1 Llanowar Elves off the Temple Garden, which is less than ideal, but we'll make it up life gain wise off of the Bond of Flourishing. Looking for our Famished Paladin, and then... yeah, it looks like we could potentially, I think, maybe turn 4... infinite combo with this hand. It's not the best. You do really want to look, ideally, for 2 combo pieces, but I feel confident that we can find one off the Bond. And a turn 1 Llanowar Elf start isn't actually the worst. Ideally, you want turn 1 Soul Warden, essentially. If this was Soul Warden, this would probably be quite the nutty hand. Oh dear. Fanatical Firebrand. And we've got a Selfless Savior. I still think I shock for the Llanowar Elves, even though against Mono Red you don't really want to be doing that. I feel like it might be Goblins, though, to be honest. Firebrand is an old Mono Red aggro hand. Mono Red aggro card. But it just screams Goblins to me, because I don't think you play this one much anymore. Yeah, it's Goblins. Okay, so... I was really hoping Firebrand would be forced to trade off with my elf at the very least, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so we're going to go with Selfless Savior first, and then Fable Passage to Thin. We still need to find a Johnny's Welcome or Soul Warden here. Grab a Plains, I guess. But getting Selfless Savior down means that I can actually play Famished Paladin reasonably safely. Gem Palm, Incinerate are likely to be their only actual removal spell, though I don't know what the Blood Crypt's for. Which is very odd to me. So, what about Paladin Llanowar Elves? Paladin Llanowar Elves for this turn. Then we've got 4 mana next turn. We go Bond of Flourishing. Find our Soul Warden, maybe. We want a Johnny's Welcome, though, because of the Fanatical Firebrand. Ideally. Equal chance of finding one or the other, though. I guess if they don't make us use Selfless Savior, then we can protect Soul Warden. Alright, so let's get that down. Just gonna make us use it. Alright, fine. Well, Gem Palm right now, if they've got Instigator into Gem Palm, then they can get rid of the Famished Paladin, we probably lose. Goblin Matron. Is this where they go dig for Gem Palm, then? Or do they want to go for one of their toolbox pieces? Yeah, Gem Palm. Oh dear. And Skirt Prospector. Okay, so a protection piece off of Bond of Flourishing is really what we want here. Oh, we would have found it as well. Oh no. Yep, that's a stinger. Okay, well, play a Johnny's Welcome. And we're just going to have to find Famished Paladin again. I suppose we could swing in with the Paladin, since they're going to kill it anyway. Yeah, instigate a cycle. Fable Passage, if it had been a God's Willing, we'd have won this game. Which is a shame. But sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. We're going Goblin Matron. I'd imagine just for another gem palm. I think they know exactly what we're doing. And if they know exactly what they're doing, it's easy to play around. Oh, mob boss. Yeah, that'll win in the game. So yeah, just a little bit too much interaction from our opponent. I think the hand was okay. Maybe the way that I played it wasn't necessarily ideal. Giving them an easy firebrand onto our Selfless Savior obviously wasn't ideal. I just don't think we can win if we play Presence of Gond onto the Llanowar Elves, and I don't think we can win if we don't, so... It's a weird place to be. I'm going to pass anyway. Because this turn they go with Krenko double up. If I top deck Famished Paladin, then they Krenko again, and they've already got infinite damage at that point that... Yeah, I'm going to let them play it out because goblins are amazing. And then we're going to play a Lord Effect, I guess. Chieftain. Yep. And that is how you don't get to see the top card of your deck. Oof. Well played, opponent. Well played. Minus 12. Alright. On to the next game. Okay, we're in, and this hand is not good enough, so we're going to mull that one, and this hand is not good enough, so we're going to mull that one, and this one has all 3 combo pieces in it, so we're going to keep this one. We're going to get rid of Heliod's Pilgrim, because it's a dead card, and this is where it gets tough, because these 3 are the combo pieces we need to win. This is the piece that keeps us alive. I'm not sure if we're going to have time to do it, and we're just going to assume that we'll draw what we need. I mean, the fact that one of these isn't a plains is very upsetting as well, which means we can't get the turn 3. Good lord. Alright, well, we can't get the turn 4 either. Come on, white sauce. White sauce is the key to victory. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so we go Famished Paladin. And we win next turn? If our opponent taps out? Come on. Come on. Oh, I'm so excited. Come on. Tap out. Leave my paladin alone. You are dead, sir or madam. You are dead. Okay, so what we do is we go with Ajani's Welcome. So when a creature enters the battlefield under our control, we gain 1 life. And then we go Forest, Presence of Gond on Famished Paladin. And we tap it 1,000,000 times. I don't know how many times. Our opponent, I mean, could have Shatter the Sky, so... We do want infinite life, so that our opponent cannot win based off of the damage that the Sanctum of Fangs could deal. And I think that's the only way that their deck can technically win. The problem is that Arena won't allow me to say my life is infinite. And at that point... Essentially, we would win by decking our opponent or by reassembling the combo over a couple of turns. And yeah, we just keep going. I'll go up to 20 to showcase that we have won this game. And hopefully they don't make me do it on their turn. So yeah, we've won. So we say no attacks, because we want to leave that open on our opponent's turn in case they go for Shatter the Sky here. Go black, black, Languish. Untapped. What are you going with here? And it's not a board wipe, because you would have turbo slammed it, presumably. Wonder if they have like a Massacre Worm in their deck and they're like, dang it! Just the wrong time. Wilderness Reclamation. Okay. They haven't scooped. I guess I'm gonna combo a little bit more. I'm not sure why they haven't conceded. So let's just make sure that we overkill them. They can't have settled the wreckage. Because they don't have the double white. Could have Flame Sweep, I guess? Flame Sweep is an instant speed spell that digs them out of this. So should I go to 25? I guess I'll go to 40. I don't know. I guess I'll leave it at that. If I have to combo next turn, so be it. Combat. Swing in for 27. Root Snare. Okay. Alright, not dead yet. Sure. I will pass the turn. No need to actually add to this board any further than we already have. Again, they add black. They go with Sanctum of All to tap out, but obviously Wilderness Reclamation untaps them. Yeah, what do they do now? Ah, they lose. Okay, so they untap. And yeah, I hit them for 27. Don't know what they were digging to there. I really don't. I mean, you're digging to another Root Snare, I suppose, but then that's just another turn. You got to keep in mind that I have infinite damage, so I think it's board wipe or bust for them, and even then, I'll be at infinite life, so Sanctum of Stonefangs isn't technically a win condition, because I won't be able to die to life loss, because I will be at infinite, air quotes. Yeah, what else do they have? We are in Historic, so yeah, it's all damage-based. There's no I win the game card, really, in their deck, unless they've got Thassa's Oracle and all the blue Hondens to draw and discard and whatnot. I don't know. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. If you know a combo playing friend who might enjoy this deck, I would greatly appreciate if you'd share the video around. I very much do enjoy this deck. I wouldn't say it's the most powerful thing in the world though, so buyer beware. You will probably lose a fair few games, and it's not the easiest thing to pilot in the world either. Biggest rule number one, I would say, is keep an opening hand with 2 combo pieces in it, but obviously that isn't always going to be the case. But as you can see, we mulliganed in this game particularly aggressively, and we managed to win on turn 4. So, you know, even when I played 2 forests in a row and didn't go for my Ajani's Welcome, it still ended up on turn 4, lining up into the perfect turn for us anyway. Yeah, that can happen sometimes. Others, you will probably play the entire game without finding your combo piece. First time I played this deck, I didn't see the presence of Gond for, I think, 3 games in a row. So bear in mind, that can happen. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to pilot. It's relatively cheap as well. If you've been playing Arena for any amount of time, you probably already got the temples and the check lands and things like that, but they are substituted quite easily. They will just sometimes, and this is the problem with the Magic mana base, they will sometimes come into play tapped when you need an untapped land, which is why obviously for this particular video I bypassed that altogether and just went my temples and checks rather than putting it into extreme budget territory, which extreme budget territory is 2 rares to build this deck, so pretty solid indeed. But yeah, like and subscribe, share the video around if you do enjoy this video and you know someone who might enjoy it as well. Honestly, that would be amazing. Love anyone who did that, to be honest. That would be fantastic. But other than that, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.